Welcome to Free Flame Thoughts.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited and really honored that you asked me to be on your show. Thank you.
I don't know who's more excited, you or me. What do you reckon?
Great to work with Black women. So.
Oh, girl, I think we're both excited and both appreciate the moment. And for some reason, it looks like I'm a little too bright. Every time I turn down my lighting, it bumps itself back up. So let's. Oh, is that a bit too warm for you? Is that okay? Is that too dark?
You look perfectly fine. I'm like, wait, is my lighting not bright enough?
You see, what it is, guys, from this position, it always looks different. And when I watch back the lives, the lighting's totally off sometimes for people. So you look a little shaded, but it's okay. It can work. If you can go a little bit lighter, that would be great too. Don't worry, we've got time to get into it. Hmm?
Is this better for you?
That's a little better. Okay, so listen, sometimes Instagram's been very, very iffy lately. So if you see me doing this, it must mean that I can't hear you, and then just let me know. Yeah, and we start over. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to Free Flame Thoughts. To some new viewers today. For those who don't know, my name is Silva, and you are on the Free Flame Thoughts. Today we have special guest Kevina, otherwise known as Miss Chef Diva. Okay. Kevina, how's your day been? Let's start with that.
Okay, so first of all, my day has been crazy. So for everyone,
really,
it's 3:30 in the afternoon here on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Started off my day dropping off my daughter at school, and then I had so I had to drive at like 5 miles per hour to get to a gas, add some air, then go to a tire shop to get new tires.
Oh boy, did you have to put them on yourself?
No, I dropped it off at Pep Boys. That's a tire place here. And literally maybe 15 minutes before I needed to leave work in order to get here to get ready for the interview, they called me and said, hey, the car's ready. So I was racing here to get ready.
How have you made it here on time? How?
Literally, I got dressed in 5 minutes.
Girl. Okay, so here's what we do. This is Free Flame Thoughts, everyone. So I'm very unorthodox, okay? So Kevina, sip your tea, smoke your cigarettes, your reefers, boil the kettle, pour your wine. I don't care. Put your feet up, okay? Just get comfortable. All right, so I'm going to get straight into who is Kevina?
So who is Kevina? Well, I'm 34.
Okay.
2 children.
How many?
I have 2 children.
Nice.
I have a government job.
Mm-hmm.
I am a school-trained chef. Culinary arts school. Then I went back for pastry and baking arts.
Wow.
Got my bachelor's in hospitality management. So I wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats. So I am always, the people in my life will probably say I'm always very busy.
I'll ask you a secret question one more time. Who is Kevina? Those are the things you do. That's not who you are. So allow me today to unlace you, take you apart, and put you all the way back together towards the end.
That's perfectly fine. So
I love all your bows and whistles. We're going to talk about it, but that's not really who we are. It's what we do. Would you not say?
Yes, you're right. So
but that's not a judgment. That's me saying that I realize, and that's why I ask everyone that question. Because what we do is we say, I'm a wife, I'm a this, and that's none of the things of who we are. It's the things that we do or the things that we're attached to, but who are we really inside? So I'm interested in getting to know that part of you. Share your soul with me, girl.
So the person who I am, I'm sexy.
Oh, okay.
Very sensual. Comfortable in my sexual appetite.
Does that appetite have a name?
It does not have a name, but it's spicy. It's juicy. It's definitely juicy. It's sometimes insatiable.
Oh, are you speaking my secrets? I don't know if you're talking about me or you right now. Girl, See, that's what I like. Do you see why I done that? Because that is the minute I mean, let me just say to you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Keep coming in and share your comments, questions. Hi to everyone. I'm going to come back to you guys a little bit later. I'm very unorthodox of how I do my thing on this live, and everyone's an individual. And you will notice that the minute we have given permission just to be, so much more other things come out. Because this is a platform where we just be. The only rule here is for us to just be who we really are. So all these wonderful things that you say you are has nothing to do with anything else but who you are within, right?
This is true.
Right, and I welcome that. So, okay, what part of the world are you located in?
So I'm on the East Coast. I'm in New York City. I'm from the Bronx. I live in now. Yeah, I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx, born and raised.
What's it like living in New York? It
never stops.
Is it as busy as I imagine it to be?
I love New York City. I have had the opportunity to live down south for a few years. And I've lived overseas. So I've experienced different ways of life, different groups of people, but nothing really compares to New York City. We really
wow. I was saying I'm going to do a weekend trip there after all this pandemic. Maybe I'll come hang out with you for a day. How about that?
Most definitely. And
girl, I'm gonna pick you up. Okay, so you're located in New York City. What is your origin? Where's your folks from? Where are you from?
So my family is African American and Native American from the church. Most of my family is here in New York. Some of my family is in South Carolina.
Okay. So tell me a bit about Kevina as the little girl. What was you like as a child?
Kevina as a child wanted to do everything.
Your face just lit up when you thought about that. I love it. I love it. Take me all the way back. Like, what was you like as a little girl?
I was very sweet. I was very nice. Not to say
did you say was? You still look very sweet to me.
I'm still sweet. But the spice is definitely there now. It was tucked away when I was younger. You know, I would say my confidence in myself now is probably at 1,000. My confidence in myself then, it was okay, but it wasn't what it could be. But I was a nice person, very sweet, the girl next door. Everybody wanted to either be my friend or probably get bullied because of the person I was. I didn't always have a lot of girlfriends. Always had a lot of guy friends. And
why was that?
Because I was cute. And my mom always kept me looking nice. And
were you told you were cute a lot, or did you feel that from very young?
Felt that, and then I was told that, right? And the way my mom dressed me up, I'm very much a girly. I'm a very feminine woman, very girly. And that, if most of my pictures, if you were to see me as a child, I have on skirts and cute blouses and shoes and frilly socks. So I was very much a girl's girl. Sometimes other girls didn't like that. Sometimes other girls didn't like that. And when it came to hanging with boys, you know, I was their friend, but also the girl that they want to date, right? Even when I wasn't allowed to date, I was their friend. This is my homie, but we also like her. It was always this never ending circle of who's my friend and who is she actually dating. But my parents didn't date until I was 16.
I'm watching you as you express your whole childhood, and I'm imagining the difference. I don't know. It's interesting how people describe their childhood, because I guess I always somewhat play modest, but then I always thought I was one of the boys. I think I always thought I was one of the boys, or wanted to be one of the boys, I guess, in some ways. So it's nice that you really identify with your total softer feminine side as a young girl. So with all of that, because all of that seems to be a lot built around popularity and the confidence of how you look, which is important to have body image confidence from so young. How would you, were you beneath all of that though, which is really the attention that you got, were you a happy child?
I was most of the time. It's like trying to call in while I'm on.
Oh no, sorry.
It's okay. Me and my mother were very close growing up, till a certain point, and then you know sometimes you're growing up and you clash with your parents.
Oh yeah.
You know, everyone goes through their different trials and tribulations as kids. But overall, I felt happy. You know, a lot of the things that I wanted to do, I had the opportunity to do, places to go and things to see, because there's so much culture here in New York City. So we have the opportunity. It's just whether or not you're exposed to it. So
that's amazing.
You know, I think throughout my childhood, I was very, very much exposed to different opportunities. You know, I took dance classes, you know, from ballet to tap to African dance, because I was very much a creator.
Wow. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into the poly.
Okay.
What led you to that path? Let's start there.
Okay. So what led me to that path? Interesting.
And before you go there, can you explain to some viewers who may not know what poly stands for? Can you give us the breakdown in your version, please?
Okay, so I don't often like to just say that I'm poly, because poly is the suffix for many different words, right? So I'm
the reason why I say poly, because the post you had when I came to you says poly, 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 poly. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna say poly. Yeah, so
I'm polyamorous, right? And polyamory is the practice of having multiple intimate relationships, and everyone knows. Right, everyone is aware. There are no secrets. There are no side chicks. There's no side dudes. It's ethical non-monogamy.
Okay, so what led you to that path? How young were you and also how young were you when you began?
So at first, I didn't know that there was a name for how I felt. There's always been a time where I was interested in more than one person. And I was dating more than one person. Then I had times when, yes, I was monogamous and I was in only one committed relationship. And then there were times when I was seeing more than one person and I wanted to have a committed relationship with more than one person. But no one tells you that that is an option. You know, you don't know that you can have a committed relationship with multiple people.
Wow.
I was 24 that I started doing a little research into having different types of relationships. When I was 26, I brought it to the attention of someone I was with at the time, and he was interested in it, but he was only interested in us dating another woman, because I am
of course,
right? I don't say every man is not like this, but many men would want the luxury of having more than one woman.
Of course,
you know?
Yeah.
So when I told him I was interested in this, he told me, "Oh, you don't want to date a man though, right?" So he was asking me, but he was also telling me at the same time. I was not strong enough to say, "Hell yeah, I would like to date another man." Like, why wouldn't I? Sometimes you get on my nerves. At the time, right? So at the time, we were having a long distance relationship, and that's not something that I wanted. That was what I had signed up for with the initial relationship. So we ended up having we were states apart. We were very far apart.
Wow.
So having another boyfriend, or just even if he hadn't become a boyfriend, someone being able to date someone else and not feel like I'm so alone here in New York and not having any companionship would have been nice.
Absolutely.
But I didn't say that. So I told him, yeah, no, I don't want to date another man. You know, we can just date a woman. And we tried, and it's very hard to have that, to get that dynamic.
But may I ask, are you strictly heterosexual or do you swing?
No, so I'm bisexual.
Okay, that makes sense now. Come on.
The ladies too.
Come on. Yeah.
I like both, you know.
Okay.
I was like, okay, you know, no, I don't want to date another man. We can just just another woman.
Mm.
And we tried, and it was difficult, and it did not work out. And that
May, can you share what the difficulties was?
she was more into him than she was into me. And
But
I
you know
knew
it's going to happen. You're never going to get that perfect balance sometimes, right?
no, it happens. It happens like that.
So you meet someone, okay, let me just find some logic in this. It's like me having a relationship with a man. The potential is one of us is going to love the other that little bit more, because the only one who has a direct measure is the one up. Does that make sense? So you're going to have someone that may fancy the other a little bit more, or in love a little bit more. There's going to be, I don't know if there's anyone that has that perfect 50-50, 100-100 attraction or love. There's going to be that little bit more. Being logical.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. People always say love needs to be equal. It's never equal.
Right.
It's never equal.
Right. So she was into him more. That's the point. Then she was into him more, but then that still affected you, right?
She was into him way more than she was into me. I didn't feel as if she even was into women, because she paid more attention. And had he done more research with me, and we really would have came into this a better way, we could have realized that we could date separately. Date one person. He could have dated her and still been in a relationship with me, and I could have found somebody else for myself.
So we didn't get to cover what led you. So it was just a case of you were feeling unfulfilled and felt like, hey, why limit myself to one person? Was that the first thing that ever brought you to that path, would you say?
That was the first thing, that I'm not fulfilled with just one person. Have somebody else, So most people look at it as, oh, she wants to have her cake and eat it too.
Well, yeah. Come on, let's be honest.
Why? Who said we can't have our cake and eat it too?
You actually can, clearly.
But are you doing it, for me, are you doing it ethically, or are you cheating? Are you lying? Brings the difference in polyamory versus what a lot of people do in monogamy. They'll have a girlfriend, they'll have a wife, they'll have a husband, they'll have a boyfriend. They're not fulfilled. There is something else that they're looking for. And there's nothing wrong with that, because one person meeting all of your needs is almost impossible. And that makes it so heavy on that person that you're in a relationship with. But they don't know how to say that. That's not something that we talk about in monogamy, of, hey, I want something else. Monogamy tells you should only want one. It's all about finding your one true soulmate, not that you have multiple soulmates, or even if they're not soulmate, you just want something else than just that one person.
Well, well said. Ever since I knew I was going to have you on this show, I've been so reflective about who I am as a person. And allow me to share something with you. So I've just been thinking about, because I've heard of this, but I've never needed to investigate. It's never crossed my mind to be in one. I wouldn't choose to be in one, and I'll tell you why. But it's very logical. Okay? And I thought about, I think it was yesterday, how we say to ourselves, if I could put him in him and add that bit in her, and we do this, don't we? If I could download that part, his body.
You want to build a person?
Girl, I need a whole sandwich in my mind. I've been doing this for years. But you know what? It's either they look great, but not profound enough, or you are very ambitious, but maybe you're not spiritual. The often situation for me is you have all these things, but the sex is not popping. So I went celibate for years. Girl, you're ready for, do you want to interview me? You say, I'm going to need to talk to you about my life. Okay?
I understand.
Girl, okay? So I thought to myself, someone like me, technically, this would be the best thing. I thought about this. I really have thought about this. I thought to myself, I looked at my history, and I thought, this would be the best thing for someone like me if it wasn't me. But what stops me is, personally, the fact that I feel, which I'll talk to you more about later, that it loses the essence of being sacred. That's just my own personal. It doesn't mean that you are not able to have sacred moments of who you choose, but because of how I built, be it sometimes our upbringing, society, or whether you are religious, spiritual, has a big part to play for why we indulge in things and why we don't. Yeah. So for me, just personally, I can't fathom, I couldn't fathom having that type of relationship on a full-time basis. Although I salute you, because you don't have to worry about, am I having incorrect thoughts? Am I wrong for feeling this way? Am I hiding? Am I cheating? So I respect that you were just open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really hard. A lot of people feel that way, the way you do. And I think
you know what it is? You know why it is, isn't it? It's the personal morality of it all,
yeah,
to be frank with you.
So the way society coaches us, right? Our thoughts just aren't our own thoughts. Everything influences us of how we view the world. And frankly, especially with women, most of the time we are not even true to ourselves of what
Absolutely
enjoyable. You know, we're always dimming our light for everyone else because
that's very true.
this is what society tells us how we need to look, how we need to sound, how we need to move around in the world. And I'm gonna dim my light for anybody.
But let me put this to you then. Okay, I'm gonna throw a spanner at you. Okay. Yeah. One could question, because as we spoke briefly, I think 2 days ago, we spoke about why settle for one if you when you can have multiple. But on the flip side, I can say to you, why settle for sharing yourself simply because you haven't found the one? Remember, everything, there's a reverse. There's a yin and yang to everything. Yeah? And the only thing constant is water, I guess, if you look at it like that. So if you look at it like that, you, to a degree, I can say, one could say, you've settled for sharing yourself in order to be fulfilled. And on the flip side, I can say, one can say, well, you're settling, Silver, because you may never find the perfect package, you know, to what is perfection, but perfect for us, I guess. You know, everyone's kind of perfect for you. So if you look at it like that, what would you say? Because there's always a reverse. Because for me, I honestly feel like I would, and as you said, society, how you feel, parents, environment. But when I go deep within myself, I think it's more spirit that speaks to me. And I know we don't always listen to our intuition or, you know, intuitivity, but I feel on a spiritual perspective, it wouldn't feel morality-wise, it wouldn't be right for me. But logically, it probably is.
See, for me, the people that I've been in relationship with and that I truly loved, none of them were the same. They were very different.
Okay.
And they all loved me in different ways. Some similar, but the way they displayed their love to me was all different. Many of them, they spoke my love languages. Some spoke better than others. But I love them all for different reasons, right? But I did genuinely love them. And some, like you said, some people will say, well, what if you just wait for the one? But what if I never find it?
Girl,
I'm living at old
do you know how old I am?
You do not look it.
Oh, no, come on, let's play guessing games for all of 2 minutes. How young am I?
I wouldn't give you older than maybe 35.
I'm 44 and I'm a grandmother. Let's move on.
But you're looking damn snaps for you. You're looking damn good. Okay.
Girl, and you know what? I'm dating now, but if I wait any longer, girl, all sorts of shit gonna shrivel up. But that's a whole nother Jerry Springer show. Carry on.
We want to use all that we got. But you could.
He may never come. He or she may never come. That's real.
Exactly. They may never come.
Never.
Right? Never come. I have been in monogamous relationships that were very good.
Okay.
But then there were things that were wrong, you know, that I knew, okay, this is a little toxic. I should leave.
Okay.
Because there were things that I really loved about the relationship, I wasn't ready to leave. You know, relationship probably much longer than I needed to.
Okay.
I loved the person. They checked most of the boxes, right? And I stayed in the relationship. If it had never been toxic, I could have stayed in that relationship and could maybe have been perfectly happy. But still, a part of myself was still missing. I was not being intimate or having any kind of relationships with women at all because we were, was that something that I wanted to feed? It was, but I sacrificed that for the relationship.
So I'm going to get into some juice with you. And now that we've got some background. Hi, everyone. I'm going to read your comments shortly. I'm going to ask one more question, then we can get into sharing. These are mostly, I think, your new viewers or my new viewers from you. So we can read your comments after. So you say you have 2 beautiful children. How do you navigate motherhood around this relationship? So the magic, really wondrous question is, does your children meet your multiple partners?
So they don't always meet them initially. If I feel though it is getting to a serious, that is going to get serious, then I do introduce them. I know some moms.
That's to multiple partners, correct?
Some moms don't want to introduce their kids to anybody until they're going to get married. And for me,
I'm getting to that question of marriage. I want to know how it all works, girl.
What if they don't mesh, right? What if they don't get along? Now you've gotten entangled and really in love with this person, but your children don't like them. So for me personally, my children are so important in my life. I don't want to be with somebody and it doesn't feel cohesive. You know,
so let me ask you, let's just say you get to that point then where you're comfortable and you feel like the people who are involved, that could be a woman and a man, isn't it? Each one, okay? Because it's all about the soul, isn't it? So let's say you get to know them and you're comfortable and you can see, I guess, a foreseeable future, which is what you're more about, isn't it? Long term, yeah? Because we never quite know how our children's going to long term, how they're going to bond and gel, but there's always an initiation of how you think the kids are going to take to somebody. It's not, and I'm asking questions also from the public, by the way, yeah? Is not the fact of your children meeting multiple people on a morality level reflected from your perspective?
Like, do you think it's immoral? Are you asking,
is any form of immoral at all to you?
I don't think so at all, because they have family members. Some they see, some they never see, and the people are in their life. You know, they have friends, they have teachers. All of these people are in their life, and
it's very different though. That it's very different having external forces and someone in your home where they're both mummy's boyfriend and girlfriend. It's totally different, isn't it?
It is different, but there's still people in their life that influence them. Our children spend so much time at school or daycares compared to maybe they spend at home. So that's someone else that influences my child who is not even related to them at all, right? Versus a family member. And that person can have a positive or a negative effect on them. I
hear you, but I still probably have to challenge that based on the fact that's like me saying, because we're living in a treacherous world, that I should not mind having the treachery in my home.
Well,
I see my point?
I get what you're saying. I vet people really
thoroughly. Of course.
Bring them around my children. And just because a person isn't related to my children, like not their biological father, does not mean that they can't be do positive in their life.
Absolutely. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
That's like external mentorship, which a lot of youth of today need. So okay, so that kind of answers that question, because I also wondered, as well as I know others would wonder, like, a lot of us are, even if myself when my son was young, my son's a grown man now. I have no problem. I'm free, girl, I'm free, yeah. But when he was younger, I mean, he's 27 now, and he's met 2 men in 27 years that stayed over that he knows of in 27 years. That goes to tell you how I feel about that. It doesn't mean that mummy don't have dirty laundry, because I do. Okay. It just means that I felt passionate about having my laundry outside of my house, because I felt like, and it didn't mean that I chose the right people, because I was young as well. I had him at 17. So it didn't mean that I chose, well, out of both the 2 men, one was not great. Okay. And that was my experience of someone who really wasn't great. But it meant so much to me that my son would not have the ability to say, Mum had all these different lovers in my house and all these different people. That meant more to me, especially as a young mum, than what I thought I wanted as a young girl. So when I wanted to have my rendezvous and have my date, I just took it out of the house.
fact that you even think that speaks also to the way society talks about women.
You're right, but it's spirit within me. It's my own morality as well. But you are right. You're 100%.
But
100%.
A lot of women will feel this way. Oh, I don't want to bring these men because I don't want them to think like this. But
surely you can see the logic and self-respect in that, surely.
Yeah, we decide, though, what's okay, right? Because I'm the one raising my children, not society. You know, I decide for them and show them a way that it doesn't have to be what they say it is. Because you don't live out there in the world. You live here in my home. You know, so the people that I'm bringing around them, if they care about them, if they love them, if they're treating them well, that's another possible parental figure in their life when there's so many children who don't have any, you know?
You're right. You're right.
You know, who only have one, and now you have parents who are struggling.
Yeah.
And they only have one, but they never bring maybe their boyfriend, who could be a good influence to their child. They never bring that boyfriend around their child. But they're struggling.
No, but I think we know. Do you know what? We know about red flags. We know when something is not right, even if we're indulging based on where we are at in our life. It's like, you know, the bad decisions I made reflects where I was in my life at the time. That's how I see it, you know. But I think for me, you're totally right in regards to society and environment. But on the flip side, you have your inner voice. If you are in tune with that divinity, you have that inner voice, and it's not going to be the same language as what it speaks to you or somebody else, because of our journeys, our purposes, and what we're here for on this earth. But I think it meant more to me how my son viewed, yes, in my eyes, women from a young age. And he's gone away and said to me that he's met other young women that has children, and their home is more like a hangout of beer. You know, it's almost like he can look at the difference of what he thought was cool and what he thought was uncool. And again, it is society that grooms us, but I guess it's just, all it is personal. It's personal. It's a personal journey, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, personal journey.
People will meet my children and know nothing about me and say, wow, you know, your kids are so nice. I always get really great reports back from their teachers that love them. And like, wow, they're so responsible. They're so sweet. They're so helpful. And most of these people who talk about them know nothing about my personal life. You know?
No, of course not. But would that affect their education? I mean, think about it. Your sexual life, would that, unless they scarred in the here and now, that would not affect their education. I mean, you got to think about it. There are children out there that are professors and their parents is on crack.
Exactly.
So what we got to look at, especially, is the reality that unless a child is traumatized in that present moment, they're not going to have that effect. But here's the question that we will ask our children. My son's 27 now. And I've had an opportunity to ask him through his late teens to his 20s what he felt. So that time may come where you have that discussion and you realize what you thought was cool may not have been with them in the end, or it may be cool and they may go on to have the same life. But right now, obviously, you are in command for what they see and how you raise them. And we're parents. But once they get to a certain age, you'll be surprised at some of the things that they may say to you. Like every parent is going to be surprised.
And my children with me, you know, I have a really close relationship with them. So
wait, say that again. Your children do live with you?
Yes. No, I said we're very close. You know, we have a really close relationship. So they know anything that they feel, I always urge them to talk to me first, right?
What are their ages?
So my son is 13. He'll be 14 in a couple of months.
He's big. Okay.
Yeah, my daughter's 11. She'll be 12 later on in the year. So
they're pretty big now.
To talk to me, right? Tell me how you feel first before, you know, anybody else, because I'm always going to give it to you straight. You know,
100%. 100%.
But
listen, take a moment, take a breather whilst we can check out some of the comments. Because once I post this video, Instagram is so mean. They don't allow us to keep the comments. So you guys feel free that once I download this video to the page, that you add comments as you please, how you felt the live went, that those comments will remain. Once I download the video, you can add your comments that you want it to be permanent. Other people can read your experience of what you watched today. So take a moment, Kevina, let's look at some of the comments. I'm going to get my goggles on because I can't see a thing about it. So let's see. Hi everyone. Let's go back into the comments. Okay, let's see, let's see. Oh, was it just more, just this people adding? I saw a few comments pop up. Can I see? Was it you can see? Who's saying Pepper? Chi, do you see yourself, my friend? Do you see yourself having a poly relationship? What are your thoughts? Is anyone in a comments box? And someone else says spicy. I haven't got my right glasses on. Do you know that? I normally have my big ones like that are magnified because I've got astigmatism, so the words are so small to me. So does anyone here in this comments box, does anyone here have or indulged or is currently in a poly relationship, or would you consider? Okay, is that Mr. Central? It is. It's real true. Fear love, then it doesn't lose anything. Okay. Let me see. Is anyone here open to having that type of relationship? Hey, Carla, how you doing, girl? What's up, friend? Children are very, Leisha, children are very understanding. We parents set the norm. Yeah, that's it. We do set the norm. That's what I'm saying. It's us that sets the norm, rightly or wrongly, you know, whoever we are. Okay. So, Mr. Central, I always feel like kids don't care if they are loved and cared for. Is your opinion okay? And if they're comfortable and feel safe.
So someone asks, do my partners know about each other? Yes, otherwise it would not be polyamory. Polyamory is not about having
secrecy.
That is a culture that is part of monogamy and seems like the norm. But no, in order to truly be polyamorous, it's about being ethical and open. So yes, all of my partners know about each other.
That's amazing. And Yummy Mummy, welcome. It says, absolutely, we are their best friends and guardians. We need to build that close relationship with them from the get-go. It's hard work, but worth it. Absolutely. I'm never going to be my son's best friend. That's not how I do parenting. Everyone, each to their own, very much each to their own. But from where I come from, we don't do, he's my best friend to my best friend. I feel like you're the child and I'm the mother, and that's how I prefer. And a lot of parents have that best thing, and when I watch that in influence, I just feel like, Sometimes those children grow up and they don't have any boundary of you being just a parent. So to each their own. If you are able to master that and you've got that respect, and your children are now adults and you see the fine line of respect, then kudos to those who's successful in that balance. But so far, I haven't seen a good balance of anyone that classifies their children as best friends, personally. Sandy, you said you missed some of the interview. Do your parents, your partners know about each other? Okay, you read that already. Leisha, yes, Polly is beautiful. Okay, yes, legendary, yeah. How does scheduling work in poly? Let's go into that.
For me, everyone governs their relationships differently. So for me, when it comes to scheduling, I do use a calendar.
Wow. Really?
Yes, I use my, because I'm so busy between my job and my children and so many different work obligations, and then my own personal things just for Kevina. Yeah, I need a calendar to keep up with everything that I have going on. So I keep track of everything on my calendar. And if it's kind of, I would say, first come, first served, right? So there's some people I spend more time with than others, but they weren't trying, maybe they're really busy and not able to give me as much time. So really, and sometimes I see people more, sometimes I don't. It's a really ebb and flow of how much time we spend with each other, but we definitely schedule things.
So as we're on that question, before we go to the next from the comments box in regards to scheduling, may I ask how many different partners are you actually currently seeing?
So right now, I have...
Come on, girl, spill all the tea. We've got the teapot boiling. You might as well spill the whole cup now, girl.
So right now, I have one solid boyfriend. I have someone that I'm dating, that I just
Mm-hmm.
recently dating, and I have another woman who I'm involved with in some ways.
So
And
what do you get from all three of them? Because they've got to be making up one person. So let's be honest. The main boyfriend is the one that does what? What does he bring to your life?
I wouldn't say that they're making up one person, right? So
Are they not? Okay.
because they're all very different, right? Now,
But isn't that what we said in the beginning and about in terms of why settle for one, which means you can't get all that you want in one. If you could, you would have one, wouldn't you? Just the one person.
I don't know.
No? Okay. So what does Bay number one, the main guy, the one I see in your photo gallery, what is he bringing to your life?
Say that he's the main, right? Because I don't practice hierarchy. I don't practice hierarchy, so I don't like to say that he's the main, even though he's very paramount on my page. Because not too long ago, I had two solid boyfriends. So me and another boyfriend, we just parted ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, you know, I spent a lot of time with this one. You know, I do a lot of family stuff with him, but I also did family stuff with the other boyfriend. But I just saw him less than I saw this one.
So this one you call boyfriend though? Yeah?
I called him my boyfriend, and the one that we recently split, I called him my boyfriend also. So like,
Okay, so the second person you see, is he a guy?
so the second person that I see that we just recently started dating, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm dating. So he doesn't have, you know, a title or anything.
And
Another,
what does he bring into your life? Because there's got to be a reason why you're going to have multiple. So I'm trying to work out what does he bring different to the other.
don't know yet because it's really new. We've only been together
Okay.
for a few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but I like his intelligence. You know, he's good looking. I enjoy his
Mm-hmm.
company. Every time I'm with him, I always feel good. We have really great conversations. He's very smart. And I do see him bringing value to my life, you know. So
Beautiful.
will we end up in a relationship? I don't know. It's kind of too new to say, but so far, I do enjoy spending time with him.
What about your lovely lady? What does she bring different to the mix?
She is, I would say, she's very much like family. She's
Mm.
used to be in a relationship with each other, and then we decided that we were better off not being in a committed relationship with each other, but we're still very close. We see each other often, where, you know, we take care of each other's children. We
Oh,
do,
wow.
yeah, we spend time at each other's homes. We plan activities and events together. So she's like my family, even though sometimes I'm intimate with her. I wouldn't say she's like my sister, but we're very close. You know, we're very
So I'm
close.
going to ask you a question that rounds up the whole meaning of why I've asked you this, and you can decide to decline depending on how you feel about it. As you have multiple, which they all add a positive essence to your life,
Mhm.
does your children see them laid up in your home in a personal way? Are they aware that these people are with mummy in that way, or do they just think that there's friends? You know, you know what I mean? Like when my
No,
son was young, you know what I'm trying to ask?
so everyone that I'm involved with isn't at my house. There have been people that I've been involved with who my children genuinely thought was just my friend. They never saw
Right, that's what I meant.
them. They never saw anything other than friend type stuff, right? And I only said, "Oh, this is mom's friend." That's it. They never saw anything intimate between us. And then
Right,
there are people who they know that's mom's boyfriend and he's mom's boyfriend, and hey,
right.
she's girlfriend. You know, now they know that me and her are not in a committed relationship, but they know we're close, right? They know they can go to her if they need help with anything. They know that we're very close. But at the time when we were together, yeah, they knew that was my girlfriend. So I don't believe in hiding myself from my children because I
Mm-hmm.
want them to feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong.
But do
So
you not feel like, as a parent, though, which all of us, and let's be honest, but I'm going to get more real with you guys in the comments box. It's all good and well when we say be yourself, but there's got to be a level where we all, to a degree, should have our heads switched on and say that your children should not have to see all that you are about in terms of exposure. We've got to be realistic with that.
I mean, some people
Surely. Do you know what I mean?
some people may think that, but I simply don't, because
Really?
will expose them to way more than I'm actually doing. The things that I see on TV that I definitely don't let them watch.
No, I'm not actually saying you as a person. I'm just saying that as much as I am myself, I don't believe even my son being a man has to see all of what I do and what I'm about. There's got to be boundaries as me as a woman, you know, and in return, he doesn't need to show me everything that he's about. It's got to be boundary. And I feel like however cool people are making out in the comments box that this is all cool, there's got to be levels when you sit in your own sense of self and spirit and say, well, you know what, as a grown woman or a grown man, not everything our children should be exposed to, whatever that is.
Well,
whether that's drugs, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is.
I would say my children never hear me having sex. They never see that. I would think that's too far.
But they're not going to see it, girl.
That's too far. But
they're not going to see it. Exactly. Yeah. But again, it's always down to morality. It is, or personal choice. It's a bit like when I used to smoke as a younger woman, I always felt uncomfortable, my son even being around that. So after a while, I'd smoke outside. It didn't change the fact that I did it. But does that then mean I'm going to say, I'm going to be myself, fill up the spliff? And I felt uncomfortable about my choice until I gave up. Do you see my point? And it was only smoking in comparison to what other people may do. But that's just a personal choice that I didn't feel like that was a positive influence. That was where my my consciousness kept kicking in.
But I think,
and it doesn't make, go ahead.
That comes from what society deems okay. Society has shaped our views of this isn't okay, this shouldn't be talked about. Do you know how many people don't even know what sex is? Or
no, but that's a whole nother level. But the thing is, we're saying society, right? We're saying society, and guys, hear this. We're saying society, and we know that society has shaped a lot of us. Not only that, your environment of how you were raised, your upbringing, but let's not blame everything on society. Again, I say there's personal morality and it's personal spirit-based instincts. So it's like saying, if I told you and I was your mother that this was wrong or right, you might grow up saying, that was my mom or my dad, but that doesn't feel right to me now as an adult. You have your own instincts. Exactly.
But what you first off with and what you first believe in or see, yes, it starts from the home, right? But
that's right, girl.
What I feel, right, starts from what I grew up with, and then what I was exposed to in society. So it's the same thing for, I think the things my children are being exposed to in society, it was way different than the things that I had. They're probably being,
of course,
than I was exposed. So for my personal morality, I don't see that as a, you know what, I have multiple boyfriends, I have a girlfriend, or I have 2 boyfriends, but I'm only going to show them one. What if with me doing that, now my children think, all right, I should just have one, and they become cheaters because they're not happy with that one person, but they don't even know that there is something else. Society has told us you should only have one partner. You got to find one, put all your eggs in this one basket. Meanwhile, the basket got a hole in the bottom and you're not happy.
Yeah. Which is living in dishonesty, which is the point you're saying as well, yeah?
So for me, being open with them, and I create a healthy relationship with them so that they can see you have other options. They may not do this for themselves when they're older, and that's okay. But if they want something else, you know, they can say, you know what, I don't really want to just have one partner. I want to, you know, I want to have more. You know, they won't feel forced to be something that they're not. And most people are living like that. They feel forced.
Oh, yeah.
But because they'll say that, oh, it's my personal morality, but really it's because what society has deemed as being okay.
That's right too. You know, I believe there's truth and bullshit in everything. I do, which means that there's truth in both what we're saying, and I probably think there's bullshit in both what we're saying too. That has to be the yin and yang, because whichever way we go, we're going to give ourselves permission to do what we're doing, aren't we? We're going to give whoever we are, and we're going to give ourselves permission to do whatever we want. And then sometimes years down the line, you're like, I'm glad I made that choice for being me. Everyone would think, you know what, I was in a different head state when mindset when I chose this path or that path. But in the meanwhile, it's a beautiful thing when we're being ourselves for however length of time, you know. Let's go on to the next question. Can I see it? I was going to ask that at some point. So did your family treat you any way differently when you told them you are into poly?
So some of my family did, you know.
But family and friends was going to be my next question. What's been your experiences on that?
Some of my family did treat me different. Well, they were very vocal. My family is not the type of family to, you know, hold in water about how they feel. So
Okay.
they at first weren't happy about it, but at the end of the day, what are they gonna do? You can either
Nothing.
love me for who I am, or you can keep it moving. And they know
That's right. That's right.
very much that person. Either you with me or you're not, right? You don't have to look at my Instagram. You don't have to look at my Facebook. You don't want to see that I have multiple boyfriends. You can unfollow. You know,
Simple.
You don't have
Simple.
this is not affecting you. You know, what I eat doesn't make you shit. So you don't have to deal with it. I remember a family member told me that if I was his child's mother, he would take me to court to take his children. And ow, you know, so you see my children.
Seriously?
Well, yes, well behaved, right? Well taken care of, are not wanting for anything, living lives, and they have multiple people in their lives who care about them, who love them, who they can depend on, right? They're not just like, oh, no, they can depend on, because there's plenty of times that due to work, I could not do it all by myself, and I had my partners there. Not always my family, but my partners were there to pick up the slack when I couldn't do it alone. Problem with that? Would judge, would ever say that there's a problem with that, right? They didn't always, they weren't always here for it, but that's how I am. Either you with it or you're not. You don't have to like it, but this is my life. You know?
I agree. I've always said that whether my friends or whoever was straight, gay, bi, as long as you are intimate with consenting adults, why do I care? Why would I change how I love you as a friend? It just wouldn't. If you, my sister, brother, whatever, of course, let's be frank, you're going to have opinions on me, I'm going to have opinions on you. And for the record, guys, we're so kind of weary of the word judge. Judge just means strong opinion. That's all it means. So I don't mind people judging me, actually. It only means strong opinion. So do we all judge? Yes. That's why we say thou shalt not judge, because we all actually judge. But in terms of condemning someone, it's very different. Of course, we're going to have a judgment on each other's, you know, what you do for work, how you dress, an opinion. We're always going to have an opinion. But will that change any form of love and friendship, sisterhood? Never, never. It would never. I've always said that. Because who I sleep with, why we have a problem with him?
Right, exactly.
And I actually may be with a dickhead.
So,
but it's a man, but he still might be a dickhead. Do you see my point? So, I don't ever use the word dickhead. Why did I say that? Someone's been using that around me in the last 2 days. That's why. Yeah, he may be not a good person, basically. So, I get that. So, what have you had? I mean, so what are the pros and the cons? We used to put it like someone just asked, what is the dynamics? Legendary Smart asked, what kind of dynamics are in polyamory?
So your dynamic can look however you want it to look. Some people are, you know, one man and it's multiple women, one woman and it's multiple men. Everybody may be seeing various people. People often think that if you have another partner, that you're having sex with them. There's some partners that I have, and they're very close to me. He may not be my boyfriend, but we're still very close, and we really don't have that much sex.
I researched that, what they say it's not always, but it has to have some kind of romantic inkling. That's the whole point, isn't it? But it doesn't have to be sexual.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be sexual, but of course, our society is so over-sexualized. They think someone's involved in your life, that there has to be some sex involved. And there's people who are involved with me who I don't have sex with often at all. So it's not. So your dynamic is for you.
So let me add on to that last question from the last person. How do you keep track of sexual health and safety with all these different partners? Real talk.
So I get tested, right? I get tested.
Of course, but but how do you still keep track? Because you can't guarantee everyone's journey. You can only guarantee your own.
Guarantee myself, right?
That's right, sis.
And I use condoms with everyone except one partner.
Right.
So that's how I roll. Some people decide not to use condoms with anybody. That's the risk that they're taking. But it's no different than being in a monogamous relationship. Monogamy,
of course,
does not guarantee you that you won't catch a disease.
No, but that's not the point, though. You see, the reason why I say that is because if it's monogamy and you're right in theory, but if someone says, it's like two married people, if someone chooses to go out, they know exactly who's giving it to them. If I have multiple partners, I don't know who I'm pregnant for. I don't know, potentially, I don't know where I got it. That's potentially, right? You know?
I'm not getting pregnant, but if I was getting pregnant, I'm going to know who I got pregnant by, because that maybe means that I'm only having unprotected sex with one person, right? Not I'm having, if I was going to have a child, I'm planning that we're going to have a child, right? So I know this is who got me pregnant, not, oh, oops, I got pregnant, I don't know what happened, because I'm not having.
But you do know that contraception is not 100%.
My contraceptive has been 100% for the past 10 years. So everything is lock, clink, clink down there. So I
like that.
For 10 years, there have been no accidents. So yeah, I feel sure that
Lord take the wheel. So Sandy says, do you ever all come together and go out on dates and etc.?
So I have gone out with multiple partners before, and they do come to my house and we have hung out together. So
okay. You right there? Go.
Just by myself with them.
I hear a couple of people saying, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. You guys got love on a calendar. This is a whole nother level of conversation right here, man. Wow.
But no, I mean, there's still spontaneity there. Everything is not planned, but I do like to put stuff on my calendar, especially like if I'm going on vacation, you know, that's on there. So other people know, hey, I'm not going to be here. Don't plan something because I'm going on a getaway.
Yeah. So somebody says, Leisha says, it's not about making one person. It's about sharing your heart with others. Well, guess what, my love? I share my heart with so many people, but not all in the same way. And neither would I share my body in the same way as all the love I give everybody. Think about that concept, what I just said. So I can love 10 people, females, friends, colleagues, relatives, but I cannot love multiple people in the same way. That's just how I'm built. I believe you can fall in love and you can fall in lust. But to love, I would have to spend time to nurture that love in a journey. But I think falling in love as opposed to standing and rising is three different things if you analyze what I just said. Yeah. And that's why people fall. Standing and rising is very different in love than falling. Yeah. So I can meet someone and like this, I could be like, oh, I'm in love. But to love takes a journey and takes spending time. But that means I'm consciously spending time to invest that time to even experience love. So it depends on how you see what love is and what you feel like in love actually is. But you know, do I think it's possible for me to be in love with multiple people? Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Of course. But also, by the way, Kevina, I will never say never. So all that I'm saying to you today, I'm still going to say to you, I can never say never, because life has taught me that there's been a few things in my life as a young woman that I've wanted or desired and had a platform for how I wanted things to be. And life has kicked me in the bum. And I didn't handle it the way I would have wanted to or anticipated. And I've made other choices that I wasn't proud of, or other choices that I felt like I shortchanged myself, you know, and so on. Or even on a spiritual perspective, I've gone against myself and made choices that has hurt myself. So I'm being honest with you guys. So that also means that it is not impossible that I might call you and say, girl, I got a link, we got to talk. Girl. Yeah, and you'd be like,
falling in love and loving somebody, yes, those are two different things. But I haven't loved everyone that I have the same type of way. You know,
there you go. There you go.
Same. So when people look at someone like me and think, oh, well, how can you love them all? They don't get the same exact Kevina with all of them. They get some of them do have the same things, and some of them don't, you know.
Yeah,
And
you can love multiple people. It's like loving multiple friends, but in what way? So I do get that.
it's all very different, you know. Nothing, like I
Mm.
said, nothing equal.
So may I ask you a question? This is going to go a bit left. I'm going to go back to the right. Do you believe in soul ties? Do you know what that means at all?
Yes, I do. And
So do you have soul ties with all these people?
no, because I could easily walk away and I would be all right.
Okay, but you do know that soul tie is a spirituality thing, which means that you can walk away. It doesn't mean you don't have that soul tie, or they don't have it to you.
I totally get what you're saying. And for me, with my last monogamous relationship, it was very hard for me to break that. Because even after we parted ways, we still kept coming back to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Still was something that it took me being really diligent and saying, you know what, I'm not dealing with this. I am going to break this because it wasn't healthy. You know,
okay.
We woke up for a reason. Have you ever encountered jealousy, or has anyone ever felt?
I was going to ask that. Good question.
So I have encountered jealousy, you know, and jealousy, it's okay. It is a natural human emotion. People think you're not supposed to be jealous. No one wants to be jealous, but it happens.
But may I ask you, who told you that it's a natural emotion because you feel it? Wait, this is very interesting. Who actually told you that's actually a natural human emotion?
I mean, when you look up anything about, well, just research, right?
But that's when jealousy actually covers insecurities. Yeah, when you research the word jealousy.
It does. So let me. Jealousy is a natural human emotion, but in order to combat the jealousy, you have to self-reflect. You have to pause and say, okay, well, why am I jealous?
Right.
Making me feel this way. I don't often feel jealous. It's very rare, but I have felt jealousy with one of my boyfriends, and I had to stop and say, okay, why am I jealous? What is making me feel this way? Why am I feeling uncomfortable? And once I knew what the problem was, it wasn't anything that he did wrong, right? It was just something within myself. And once we sat down and we talked about it, then I was okay.
Okay.
But people don't really properly address why do they feel the way they feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we go on to the next question, thanks for sharing that. Do there have to be, is there rules set in place for poly relationships? Are there like basic guideline rules, or is it you make it up according to what's right for your relationship?
It is based on what's right for your relationship. That's what makes it right. You can have boundaries, right? But it is what's okay for you. So I don't really have any rules per se for my relationships because everybody is their own person. I truly believe in everyone having their autonomy. So I don't want to impose my will on someone else. So I wouldn't say that I just want to be respected and cared for and loved in the way that I want to. And if I don't feel that is happening, then yeah, we have to sit down and have a conversation about the relationship.
Well answered. Okay. Let's go on. Let's go on. Where are we going? Hang on. Who shall I go to next? Legendary says, but boundaries vary. Someone else talks about unless you are being sexually inappropriate in front of them as in your children. I'm thinking you mean, which isn't good, but why aren't you being real with your children? I don't think that can apply to you because you've already said you're real with them. So that wouldn't apply. That would make no sense, that question in that sense. Unless you want to rephrase that and maybe you're directing that to me. I don't know. I'm not sure. So Lisa says they don't see everyone we date, just the ones that make it to the big, so like everybody else. So I get that. The ones who make girlfriend, boyfriend, the ones who you've upgraded, right? Why not? Okay, yeah. So let's see, is that I am. says we are given our beliefs and values from our family. If you take it, absolutely. As a child, of course we are, but you get to an age, and I believe this because of who I am, you get to an age that if you have strong purpose and you are individual in your sense of spirit, you will choose to filter what you've been given based on your soul purpose. Exactly. And you're totally right. You remember you've been taught how to dress, how to think, how to eat, how to say thank you or no thank you, how to be bully, how to be racist, a lot of things, you know, none of us come out the womb with all of these isms. We are taught it in so many forms: TV, media, parents, neighbors, the pets, the dogs, the chicken, you know, but if you have a strong sense of individualism and soul purpose, you will be able to differentiate what is for you as an adult and what isn't.
Exactly.
And a lot of people still walking in the shoes of friends and family older than you and I, Kevin. They've never cut their clipped wings. They've never set themselves free ever. Because I'm kind of the person in my family, it may not be in terms of what we're discussing, but in many other terms where I'm just individual, I'm doing me. And you just like me or bite me. That's just where I'm at. So I can resonate with you just being. And if you're my tribe, you're my tribe. And if not, then I'm my tribe. How about that? You know, and that's it. Were you saying something? I saw your lips moving then.
Oh, yeah, my daughter is like, oh, what are you doing?
So I am also says, you don't have to accept those beliefs. That's right. That's right. And values, create your own. There you go. But people feel it's wrong because they're so stuck with what society and family and religion has taught us. So you're very right. Find your own way. Find your own, you know, your own okay with self. You know, and if we ever get to a point where we can say that we are free within that ism, then we are truly blessed. But it takes a lifetime for many, and even probably still me and you, to work on elements of self-acceptance. So let's see. Dutch says morality isn't a objective theory of reality. It is deeply subjective and varies depending on what culture. I don't know why I'm not wearing my glasses. What culture you come from. There you go. African American culture has a silent history of sexuality, so we can open it up. People are scared of that Pandora's box. Do you know what? That's a dope comment. That's a dope comment, and I actually want to go deeper into that search, maybe myself. I like that. You see?
Yeah.
I like that. I love people that's gonna see that comment. For me, will stay with me because it's different. Everyone's got their opinion, and I love it. I welcome everyone's comments and how they think and feel and express themselves. But that has taken me to a place of Africa having a secret sexuality kind of exploration. Of course, it's going to be things that need to be unearthed, but that is interesting. I like the way he's put that.
There's no freedom amongst Black people, especially here in America. I think mostly due hugely because of slavery. And and so it takes a lot for people to open up and truly be themselves. Yeah. Like you said, it does take a lifetime, and some people never reach that.
Yeah. Someone else says also people get very stank and salty when women are living in their truth. Trust me, I believe. Yeah, let me join you because I know how I am. I know what I'm like, and people try to give me stick, and I'm like, don't come for me unless I sent for you, because I'm happy being me. You know, in that term of growth and accepting who I am. So absolutely, and I'm a very sexual being. So let me not sit here giving the wrong impression. By the way. You know, I'm just saying that hasn't been my path, but I'm never going to say never. But where I am now and where I have been, that's just how I feel. But it doesn't mean ultimately that my imagination hasn't thought, God, why can't I meet him and put him in him? And it kind of goes back to what Kevina is saying. It's the same thing. I just had the thought, but not actually done it in reality. In terms of wanting to have these different people in one that doesn't exist. So you found your happy medium, and I can only salute you for you being yourself. You know, honestly. Legendary, yep, everybody judges, darling. I'm not afraid of being judged. And the minute I chose to look up what the word judge meant properly, only just last year, I thought, why am I scared of being judged? I don't care that people judge me. You know, but judge me correctly. You know, judging me incorrectly will be a concern. So I'm happy for people not to like me for who I am, but to not like me for who you think I am is something different. Right, girl?
It is. And
You know?
to Ambo Sandy's question, he said,
Mm-hmm.
you're open with who you are. Has anyone ever called you bad things because of it?
I was going to, yeah, good question, girl. Go, Sandy.
In conjunction, yes. Everyone is not comfortable with me being who I am, right? I think a lot, like someone else said, you know, people don't like when women are themselves and are very comfortable. I'm very comfortable in who I am. I'm not bowing down for anybody. I'm not dimming my light for anyone. Oftentimes, I get bad negative responses from men who are interested in me, who want to date me, who want to have sex with me, who want to have relations of whatever kind with me. And once they realize that I'm not monogamous, and when they know,
they take your crown off, they throw away your crown, don't they? Girl, be honest.
But they want to try to take my crown, right? But it's all because they can't have me. You know,
exclusively.
They can't have me exclusively. They don't want to deal with. They're not okay with me not being monogamous, and that's okay. This isn't for everyone, right? You got to know your place and roll in that. Don't try.
Do you know what's interesting though? You must intimidate some of them as well, because they want to be the ones sometimes to say they've got, you know, different girls on the go, but instead you're like saying, listen, don't pull up around here unless you know that you can't have me exclusively. And that they must be like,
I'm always real about that the people, you know, and people don't like that. So yeah, some of them want to call me names and, you know, say degrading things, but I don't let it get.
I have no right to abuse you in that way.
Yeah, I don't let it get to me, because that's their immaturity that's showing, you know, and their small-mindedness that's showing. Just know that, hey, this is not for you, and that's okay, and keep it moving. I've found that a lot of men cannot, they can't deal with it.
How long did it take you from the time you started this journey to accept and be open with, guys, this is who I am, knowing that half the world is going to be like, throw eggs on a stoner? Let's be honest. Yeah, how long did it take you to say, this is me, fuck it, and this is me?
I think this last maybe year and a half, I really had so much personal growth. I was comfortable in who I was, but I decided to fully say, you know what, I don't want to date monogamously. I only want to date, you know, being a polyamorous woman, and owning that truth and standing in it, it definitely changed me. And then having the type of partners that I've had in my life has made such a big difference. You know, the way you're loved and cared for really makes a difference in how a person flourishes.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, that's whether you're in a monogamy or poly relationship, whichever relationship you have, absolutely.
Right. But for me, I would say over this past year, the type of love that I've received has really helped me flourish even more and do all the things that I want to do, because I know, hey, this person is in my corner. That person's in my corner. This person is loving me and is comfortable with who I am and stands proudly next to me, right? They're the person that's showing me off, like, look, you see my boo? That's my girlfriend over there. They giving me all the props that I could ever possibly want. And that helps me shine brightly. You know, I was already shining, but their love is like dusting me off and polishing me continuously.
I saw a photograph of you on Facebook, and I believe I pressed the red heart button because you spoke about, you said, this man right here is why I'm showing my pearly white teeth. He knows how to make, and I was so smiling, and I tried to share it, but it wouldn't let me. I couldn't get to share it. This is about a day ago. And I thought to myself, regardless of our choices of what kind of relationship we would like, I haven't heard anyone say that for years. You know, and I mean, actually say it and mean it. And I can, to me, you're glowing. Something's working. Honestly, real talk, you're really glowing. And I think a lot of that glow, I'd love to say, is because you're truly living in your truth.
I always say,
and a lot of people cannot. They're literally having affairs with two people, and we can't even admit it because of the scrutiny they're going to get. So the fact that you are free, I feel that is so radiating off you. The energy is like, listen, I really am myself. And I can only salute people that's got to any point of their life. And that's why I'm the way I am. The greatest part of me is, listen, this is it. And that's what gave me more confidence as a woman. Say, no, this is me.
Yeah, there is true freedom for everyone in being yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I am unapologetically myself, right?
Yeah.
He is what you're going to get, you know, and even there's still so many layers to me that you have to peel back to really know all of who I am. But people have said that I'm glowing because I'm happy.
But I've just sent love hearts to is that Alicia? I've just sent love hearts to Alicia. Seconding that once again after I've already said it, because you know, it doesn't really matter to me what choices we all make differently, as long as we are not hurting anyone else. Our personal adult choices is ours to own. And if someone's happy and you like it, I love it. And you look happy, I'm loving you're happy. And I think this has been a really reflective conversation so far. So tell me, is there anything in regards to the poly that you would like to add that I didn't get to ask you about? Anything?
Anybody that is interested or thinking that maybe this could be for me, knows that you have to do the work. It is something that happens easily. You know, I know the media may make it seem like, oh, it's easily achievable. It's not. Especially for the men out there who may be watching this and thinking, oh, I'm going to get 2 women. It's not easy, right? Do the self-work. You have to shed a lot of society's monogamous beliefs. You know, you can be with somebody and it's okay to have a side chick. That's never okay, right? Cheating never feels good for anybody, but you definitely have to leave those type of thoughts. Throw them in the garbage, especially if you want.
So even though just to interject, so even though there's multiple, there's no one actually feels like a side chick or side dude. No, everyone's main, right?
Everybody, well, a side chick and a side dude, right? In monogamous relationships, usually like that person is in the closet, right? Everybody doesn't know that you're dealing with that person. You got a wife, you got a girlfriend, you got a husband.
Yeah.
That person, that excess person, that person's in the closet, right? That's a secret. Nobody that's involved with me is a secret. And I never let anybody feel like, oh, you're a secret. You know, I always say, love me out loud. If you're going to deal with me out in public.
I love it.
Want to deal with me in private, right?
Well, I want to be the spider on your wall, girl.
Yeah.
The question is, will I fall off? Could I handle it? I like to watch. I like to watch.
Everybody can't handle it. You know, the kitchen is right. Everybody can handle it, but it's all about being open and honest about what you want, right? Leave that with people. Is being open and honest about what you want and what you're doing, because nobody wants to feel hurt. You know, nobody wants to think that they're living a lie. You know, that's the main thing about being polyamorous, is that I'm open with everyone. I'm not lying to anybody, and that's it. I'm open.
Well, tell us a bit about, while we're on the topic still, your fabulous podcast that you are in the process of creating. Let's know about that. And where can we find you? You can find me, guys. You can find her. So we're good. But where can I find you?
I'm super excited. My podcast will be dropping by the end of the month. It's called My Juice Is Their Religion. So
where did that come from? Where did that name come from?
So I
was confused when I read it. So fill me in.
So It started with a lot of people always seeing the type of relationships I have and thinking, wow, you know, how did she get that? You know, someone said to me, oh, you got the juice, girl. And I'm like, you know what? I do have the juice, but you could have it too, right?
Mm.
It may be different from my juice, but you could have it too. You just got to know how to work your magic. It just, no. For me, I'm just able to, I don't want to say reel people in, but they're very captivated into the relationships that they want to have with me. And with having the title, My Juice is Their Religion, because they don't want to leave. People often say, oh, you want to have your cake? Yeah, I do, right? I'm not forcing anybody to be with me.
That's right. That's right.
They want to be involved with me, whether it's friends, sexual partners, my boyfriends, whatever, they want to be here, you know. So that's why I say my juice is their religion, because they want to take a drink, they want to sip. So
a tall glass of Kevina.
They want a tall glass of Kevina, and I'm available.
So you go and take it to sunken place, boys. Once you get in, you can't get out.
So
I love it. I love it.
They do not leave. My boyfriend knows he's not going anywhere. But
you are quite captivating. You have a very captivating essence, aura, and sensuality about you, and super with the confidence that laces it all together. So, you know, and if you are, you know, if you have a golden heart to go with it, why would they want to leave? Especially if the sex is good.
Exactly, right? Most people don't leave their religion because they're tied to it. They're married to it. They will do anything that they can for that religion. That's exactly.
But tell me something before we wind down this topic. You would like to get married?
I do want to get married.
How would that work? Are you going to have, would it be other married people, or are you all going to get married? Girl, my head can't fathom. Can you break this down for me?
People often ask me this, you know, do I still desire marriage? I do still would like to get married. So who I would get married to depends on who asks and who I would like to get married to. I would think, you know, most men are not only going to ask if they know they're going to receive a yes.
So would you not marry the one that you love or in love with the most?
I don't look at it as being in love with the most, because you can love somebody so much, but that not be the right life partner for you.
100%.
And marriage
100%.
about love. It is a partnership. It is a business, right? And I don't want to.
It's a transition. I would say it's always a transaction. There was always a transaction.
It's not.
I wouldn't say it's a business, but I'd say it's always a transaction.
Yeah. So it's not just about who I love the most, you know. But I do love many different people in different ways. But once I do get married, that doesn't change my other relationships. I have no intentions of.
But then where's the sacredness? What's the point in getting married if you're going to not be sacred and be still sleeping and seeing other people? Just so I understand how it works for you.
Looking at marriage from a religious standpoint, I don't look at marriage.
No, I actually ain't. It's more of a spirit base, and it's personal. That's why it has to be personal. That's why I'm wondering how you see it.
For me, my marriage would still be important to me. You know, it still would be sacred. But just like I'm not giving up my partners, he would probably have other partners too, and I wouldn't expect that he's going to give them up and now we're going to go.
But then what's the point in getting married if you've already got all that you want? Just so I understand, what does marriage mean to you then, really, I should ask?
Well, some people say, oh, well, why, like you said, why do I need to get married? Business-wise, you know, certain protections, I don't want to have to go through, well, I need to go to a lawyer and get this done. You know, I still want to have one person that I know that if I don't live with anybody else, I'm going to live with this person, right? If I need to leave, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay?
My daughter. It's okay.
That's all right. It's okay.
Right? It's okay. I still want to have one person that I still have that tie to, that if I know that if I can't count on anyone, right, I can count on this one person, you know, that, you know, health insurance wise, life insurance wise, that they're tied to. When it comes to my children, if something happens to me, this person is going to
You're thinking it from a methodical and logical perspective as well.
They're going to take care, you know, is going to take care. So I don't want to just say, oh, well, I don't need to get married because I have all these things. No, I still want to get married.
Okay, right. Some people start their poly once they become married. Well, you know what? Just for the guys in the comments box, as an adult, we totally have the license to live exactly as we choose, and it is not for us to engineer another person's heart perspective. So that's the whole point of why I'm having this conversation. And whilst I'm getting to know you, you're also getting to know me. And on a two-way stream, there's ought to be an acceptance for who we both are, whilst we both discover why we think the way we do and why we, you know. And then some people may say there's no right and wrongs according to who. It's all it has to be all personal at the end of the day, unless you are spirit defined or religious defined, and then that's what's going to lead you, you know. Yeah. But anyway, so listen, what does the future hold for Kevina in whichever realm you want to speak on, whether that's careers, whether that's your becoming a chef, whether that's what does the future hold for you?
Well, I definitely see my businesses flourishing and me having, you know, my restaurant and lounge one day.
Wonderful.
I'm really excited about my podcast that is coming up soon.
And that's for next month.
I have really big plans for that. And I definitely see marriage in my future. I definitely see marriage in my future. So
I didn't get to ask you, would that be to any gender, or would it be specific gender that you'd marry?
Well, right now, the marriage I see is definitely with a man. So I look forward to that. I don't know.
Yo, let me know buy a new hat. I've got over 100.
You know, I don't know when it's
wedding.
I feel it's there. So my future is very bright. You know, I know all of the things that I want to accomplish are there at my grasp.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Kevina, you have been the most transparent and amazing and informative guest. You're my first guest in 2021, and that's got to be magic. I love it. I love it. You're my first guest in 2021, and that is a massive stand for me to have this conversation the beginning of a brand new year. So for you guys watching who knew nothing about poly before but what we saw on TV, on a documentary that we saw for half an hour, hearing it here directly from a sister has been truly informative. I'd like to think that it would have allowed us to broaden our perspective, even if it's not for us, and that's perfectly okay, but to broaden your perspective. And for me, it definitely has had me more reflective, and it has broadened me. It may not sound like it, but again, we have to say, when we're trying to have a conversation where, you know, one wants to be accepted for who they are, it also goes both ways of us having two different opinions, but also me understanding the benefits for you and the benefits for many if they choose that road, to be frank. So it's been really, really, really cool. So tell me, what are your afterthoughts? How has it been for you today on Free Flame Thoughts, sharing your soul with me?
This has been really awesome. This is the first time that I've had the opportunity to do something like this. I often feel, because, you know, I run a group on Facebook, so I'm often, you know, talking about these type of things, trying to educate others who are interested in doing this. But I've never had this kind of deep one-on-one conversation with anyone and, you know, fielding questions from people. So this has been really... this has made me feel really good that no one came on and was really crazy.
But you know something. Those who know I'm free flow. I'm free flow. So it's all respect. Everyone can have their opinion and ask questions, but I'd make sure there's always respect. I wouldn't even entertain any bullshit.
Which is really good, because, you know, sometimes people are...
No. Do you want to know why? Because the reason why I do this, guys, is because I'm about soul connectivity. That's my greater purpose. And soul connectivity does not mean we have to mirror each other. It means that I seek the opportunity to soul connect with somebody else, regardless of gender, race, or whatever, or sexuality. And we have that moment we are living in a society, as I always say on these talks, where we are engineered to be everything but ourselves. So when talks like this, again, I say, regardless of differences, my intention is always for us to be co-pilots and get to know each other from a soul perspective. So mainly, most of the things I do in here are pretty soul deep. But on Fridays, I have a little gate crash and we have a bit of fun. I get a bit turned up and it's all silly on Fridays. But on the Wednesdays, it's mainly one-to-one. So I'm glad you feel like that. Is there any last word you'd like to share with your viewers?
You definitely made me feel comfortable. So thank you so
much. Thank you.
And for all you viewers out there, definitely go to my podcast page. Please follow me. Thank you for all of your questions. This has really been really wonderful. You've been a really great host. And thank you for being open-minded.
Excellent. Well, for you guys who are not poly, even my mates that are on here, if you decide to switch, let me know how good this life. You're gonna have secret people going to you now, Kevina, that I don't know about yet. All my good friends are like, shit, I'm going to go and see Kevina. Life is good where she is. I'm gonna try and do a trip to New York to come hang out with you one day. We'll see when all this. You're only around the corner, girl. New York for like a weekend, girl. I'm gonna holler at you.
I look forward to it. We'll definitely
let me tell you. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do live on location recording, especially when you get your whole, we're gonna go shopping, and God willing, we're gonna get to meet up. Kevina, you have been an amazing guest. Thank you once again for sharing your soul with me and the viewers. I'm gonna have you back here in the near future. Until then, I'm gonna add your link on this post, and guys, feel free to go ahead and follow her, and also look out for her podcast that's coming next month. Peace and love. Namaste.
Thank you.
Feel free to exit yourself. Guys, that was amazing. I always feel truly grateful when someone chooses to come on here in such a respectable manner, as Kevina did. She totally held her own. She totally held her own. And I can be a little challenging at times. And sister didn't blink once. Yeah, she's good. She's good. I love you, Kevina. You are very true to yourself. I respect you and what you stand for, and being your authentic self. Peace and love, and all the best with your aspirations and becoming a chef and everything else you want to do. Guys, let's talk about Friday. Friday we have, at the moment, it's probably every other Friday, but we have Gate Crash on Friday, and that means that people can come on and off the live on a topic, and they can come in on and off the live with me, and one person can throw you off by asking for the request to come in. It's going to be a little turn up on Friday. I'm not going to tell you what the topic is right now. I'm going to drop a advert promo tomorrow, so look out for it. Thank you guys for joining me. Peace and love.